This is Sumit Chandar. He has been waiting on the broadcast very patiently. A very good morning, Mr. Sumit. Hope you're doing well. We're speaking at a time the entire national capital is up in arms. We've seen protests after protests. You just heard one of those voices that is almost leading that movement for people in the national capital region. I do want to begin with basics, Mr. Chandar. How do you read into the Supreme Court judgment?
See, the Supreme Court is very clear. There are two ways to look at it. The Supreme Court gets into if there is a law enacted by the Parliament, it can hold the provision of that act or the entire act as constitutional or unconstitutional. That has not been done in this case. What is there? There are two things to look at it. One, there is an act, which is your Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, and the other is a MCD Act. What everybody today is talking about, and what Mr. Gandhi has also been talking about, was the ABC rules or the Animal Birth Control Rules of 2023, which lays down various provisions under which a committee is formed. The committee takes care of dog sterilization. There is a lot of other issues that is taken up under the rules. Now, the Supreme Court has not gone against the act which is made by the Parliament. The Act only says, the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960 only says that there should not be any animal cruelty. And if there is a cruelty to animal, that will be a criminal offense. That is not, so Supreme Court says that the government has been directed that you file an affidavit within 8 weeks saying that what have you done under this, there should not be any cruelty to animals. But though Section 328 of the NDMC Act gives you the power that wherever the chairperson finds an abandoned or a roaming dog on the street, they have a power to remove them. So please remove them, put them to dog shelters, but those dogs should ensure at the same time that there should not be any cruelty to the animals.
But that's the contention here, Mr. Chandar. The contention here is that all of this indirectly amounts to dog cruelty. It almost amounts to death sentence for dogs, because where is the infrastructure? If I just go by data, MCD, for instance, as per this report, operates around 20 animal control or sterilization centers. That's not enough. Even if that number were to go up beyond that, how many dogs are they going to be able to cater? And 8 weeks doesn't really look like a realistic timeline, quite frankly.
Yes, so there are two ways to what can be done now or what possibly might also get done with so much of activism coming up. One is that the review can be filed against what the judgment has been passed. The other is that government has been given 8 weeks to file an affidavit as to what they have done. If they are facing any problems, say problems of not having the proper dog shelters, not having enough dog shelters, or any of the complaints being raised in agitation today, those issues can be put in that affidavit. The government has a right to ask for certain more time if they so need. But these, end of your day, your problem is not about the laws or the judgment. The problem is about the implementation of it. Now,
if the judgment also is being looked at as problematic, that's why I'm trying to go back to that point, Mr. Chandar. And I do want to understand from you again, where is this judgment then coming from? Because even courts earlier, while citing the existing laws that we followed for years at length, have spoken of how after the mandated sterilization, which has been ordered repeatedly by the courts, which the law of the land mandates, these community dogs have been asked to be sent back to their place of origin. That's in stark contradiction to what the Supreme Court judgment points out to.
Yes. The reason being, see, earlier, of course, the implementation under the animal birth control rules, the rule was that you sterilize them, you send them back. The problem that came in is over a period of time, if the sterilization would have taken place with due diligence, then we would not have been facing this problem today, possibly. Now that this problem has arisen, of course, Supreme Court, when looking at this judgment today, all the activists have the opportunity to now approach the court, provide another manner or the framework, and in support what we call as the public and private relationship, where the government and the private NGOs can get together, find a solution. The problem is today, rather than focusing on what solutions can actually or what alternatives can be suggested to the court when the government files an affidavit, today everybody is focusing on what the judgment, where it is wrong and whether it is implementable or not. Now, those are the aspects we need to look at it slightly differently. Get in touch with the government and Mrs. Gandhi, I'm sure, would have already done that, where along with the government, you move an application to the court, giving a suggestion as to how the NGOs, what are the right ways to protect the dogs, what these NGOs can do to assist the government to protect these dogs, with respect to the dog shelters, how to maintain it, how much new dog shelters can be created. So please help the government, I would recommend. The judgment only says that yes, there has to be a segmented manner in which you now take care of these dogs. Since you fail to implement the sterilization and the animal birth control rules in its true letter and spirit when it existed. So
Then it boils down to Mr. Chandar, who
Yes.
should have taken the onus, who failed in performing their duties, why is it that proper sterilization did not take place, and the one question being asked is, are the voiceless being punished for that? So what would your response to be all those raising these concerns?
See, it's unfortunately what is the dogs today are suffering because of somewhere there has been lack of implementation. Now, if we could have ensured that now that water has already crossed the bridge, there is implementation has not been done. Today we are at a situation where it's an extreme situation where the courts have intervened and taken a certain stand. Court has also given a time to the government to come back and give an affidavit stating as to how they're going to implement it and to ensure that implementation is done. If they need time, if they have solutions, it is the government, it is the NGOs who have to get with the government and then give a solution to the court. I'm sure the courts are open to listening to the solutions, but solutions which are practical, which are implementable. But somebody has to come back to the court with that.
Okay, so you're telling us all hope's not lost.
Absolutely.
There is still time left for the various stakeholders to make submissions to ensure that a proper solution comes out of this. Appreciate you speaking to us, Mr. Chandar. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Breakfast Club. With that, we head into